My God, you're teaching them bad habits.
I'm teaching them the cabin life. They always said I was a bad influence, but this is wonderful stuff. I got a border collie under each arm.
A few weeks ago when I was working out by my tree stand, I had pointed up and I said, oh, there's some chaga. Well, since then I've had a lot of people asking me, what was that stuff that I was pointing at? What is chaga? So I'm just going to do a real quick video and show you a very simple approach to harvesting and preparing chaga. Now, if you look this up on YouTube, you will hear everything from one end of the spectrum to the other. Some people will tell you to shave off all of this black stuff. Other people will say never shave off all of the black stuff. Some people will tell you that you need to boil it for days and days, while others will tell you to never boil it because boiling it will kill a lot of the medicinal properties of the fungus. You will hear everything, okay? So if you're asking me how I prepare it, that is what I am going to do, is just show you my very simple approach to how I manage my chaga. Yes, nice chaga right there. Yep. I'll harvest a piece and talk about this a little bit. Now you see how this stuff looks like charred wood? And it grows on the birch trees. Birch of different varieties. It's this dark, charred look with an orange inside. At first glance, this stuff is pretty ugly. Well, it's kind of ugly no matter how you look at it. It doesn't look like anything anyone would want to ingest, but let me tell you what, this is a blessing in disguise. The medicinal properties of chaga fungus is off the charts. It's becoming very popular now. It's been used for centuries and beyond. You make a tea out of it. Sometimes I mix it with my coffee because I'm not a big fan of the flavor. The flavor actually kind of tastes like it looks, as far as I'm concerned. But I mix it with my coffee occasionally. And since I've been taking chaga tea, my intestinal problems have diminished tenfold. Pretty amazing. Chaga tea is a tremendous anti-inflammatory. It's got more antioxidants than any natural substance in the world. Tremendous cancer fighter. It's good for your skin, your hair, and your nails. I could go on and on, but I'm just going to give you the tip of the iceberg. And you can do some research for yourself and find different recipes and ways to prepare your chaga. I bring it home, I let it dry out for a week or so, and then I make tea with it. I'll show you what I do. How important it is to dry it out before you make your tea, I don't really know. When I was introduced to chaga, that's what everybody was doing, so I've just been following suit. There's some stuff like this that grows on cherry trees. It's black, it's a fungus, but that's not chaga. You make tea out of that, you're on your own, because I don't know what's going to happen to you. You want to harvest it on birch trees. And I've seen it on the golden birch and the white birch, etc. The different birch varieties. Let's go take a look at some of the burls. Well, they're not burls. A lot of people call them burls on the cherry trees, but they're just a fungus. Some people call it a conch, a lot of different names, but it's a fungus. But it's not chaga. Let's go take a look at that. See, here's a cherry tree here. You see those big round chunks of fungus up there? A lot of people call them burls, but they're not really burls. It's a fungus growing on the cherry trees, and it's quite common to see them on the cherry trees. So all I do is I take my chaga after I have dried it, I put it into a clean t-shirt, I bust it up into chunks, and then I store those in a bag. When I want to make tea, this is what I do. All I do is I take some pieces of chaga like this, chunks of various sizes, get the black still on it, I put it in a pot of water, I bring it to a boil, and then I simmer it. I might simmer that all day long on the wood stove. When the water starts to look like coffee, I'll have some. The longer it brews, the stronger it is. Sometimes I just mix it with my coffee. Sometimes I have it straight up. Sometimes I put maple sugar in it. Have it however you want. Okay, this pot of chaga is just coming to a boil now. I'm going to turn it down and I'm going to let it simmer. That's how I prepare mine. You can do yours however you like. So that is my very simple approach to how I prepare my chaga. If you've never heard of it, look it up. You will be amazed at the medicinal properties of this fungus. If you look it up on YouTube, beware, because you will find lots and lots of contradicting information on how to prepare it. That's where you can watch a bunch of videos, look up information, find some recipes for it, and then make your own decision. Do a little experimenting and find what works for you, or you can buy it already prepared, convenient tea bags. I'll put a link below to a very reputable source for chaga tea bags, okay? And if you're looking it up, see how much these people are putting in the tea bags. The source below gives you your money's worth, all right? And that way there's no guesswork. We can all dunk a tea bag, right? We got that figured out. Now I turned it down, it's going to a simmer. You can see that the chaga is leaching into the water nicely. The water's getting colored there. I'm going to let it simmer for a while, and the longer it simmers, the darker the water will be. Now I can't tell you how much of the medicinal properties you will get out of the fungus at this point in time as opposed to 6 hours from now, because I am not a scientist and I don't have the equipment to test that. But keep in mind that neither are the other YouTubers who are talking about chaga, regardless of the length of the words that they're using in their sentences. So that's it. Enjoy your chaga. I found this barrel out in the woods. As you can see, it's been used as a target. And I want to put a fire pit in the yard, but I just want a temporary one because it's going to go over there where all the trees are going to get cut. And right now I just want one up here in the yard. I love to sit by a fire. So I was hoping I could find a tractor trailer rim somewhere. That would make a good fire pit, something I could move around, but I wasn't finding one. Then I stumbled across this barrel and I go, you know what? I mean, it's all rusted through. It's been in the woods a long time. I'm going to try and cut it right here, right above this ring, and then I'll hammer it over so that rough edge is pointing downward or inward. And I think it'll make a decent fire pit for now. So I'm going to give it a go. I just bought some more of these Elvex glasses, and I got to tell you, I like these better than the old ones. I thought that they were just clear lenses, but when you put them on, it's almost like a polarizing. I don't believe it is because they're inexpensive, but it just gives the world a nice color. So I'm going to make a racket, see how it goes. Okay, as you can well imagine, lots and lots of questions been coming in about the new puppy, like how does Frankie like her, are they getting along, how's the training going, stuff like that. Well, it's going good. Of course, you have a few struggles at first getting a new puppy, like she's done some alterations to the screen door. Stuff like that, and chewed furniture is to be expected when you get a new puppy and you have to teach them where their boundaries are and the difference between right and wrong. But she's doing very well. She knows what the word no means. She's chewing on a shoe and you say, Tildy, no, she lets it go. Okay? As far as the housebreaking is concerned, I think she's got it down. We haven't had an accident in maybe 10 days or so. And there was one accident, and maybe 4 or 5 days before that, it was all good. So in the last maybe 3 weeks, there's been like 1 or 2 accidents. That's fantastic. She seems very, very intelligent, but very excitable. Okay, Border Collies are nonstop, and raising a Border Collie puppy is a full-time job. You know, a lot of people get Border Collies and they're at work all day and the pup's in the crate and then they let the pup out and the dog is bonkers. And then because the dog is bonkers, it ends up back in the crate and then it's in the crate all night. Well, a Border Collie is a handful, you know, and a lot of them get surrendered to shelters because people can't handle it. You think you're going to get a Border Collie and get a Frankie right out of the box. Frankie took a lot of training and still a lot of maintenance, you know. If you decide to get a puppy and you're thinking about getting a Border Collie, really think hard about what you can offer that dog rather than what that dog can offer you, because Border Collies are a full-time job. Just give that some thought if you think about getting a Frankie. Yeah. All right. Okay, a couple weeks ago I answered the question about the books that inspired me as a kid. Now people are asking me about what TV shows that I watch. Well, if you like the content of my channel here, chances are you were influenced by the same TV shows that I watched, like Little House on the Prairie. Okay? Charles Ingalls, what did he do for a living? He was a farmer. He built furniture, did some carpentry jobs on the side, did a bunch of other odd jobs, and he took various jobs throughout those series. Okay? Multiple streams of income. Where have I heard that before? The Waltons. I still love the Waltons. I bought the whole set. We watch them quite often. John Walton, what did he do for a living? Sawed lumber, did odd jobs, fixed things for different people, and took various jobs here and there. Multiple streams of income. Here we go again. Right? Why is that so hard to understand today? I don't know. Marlon Perkins, remember him? Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. You remember that show? I watched that show silly. And Jeremiah Johnson, that came out at the theater when I was 10 years old, and I have probably watched that movie 1,000 times. Good flick. Grizzly Adams, huh? I love that show. Now, even as a boy, I could tell that that show was really far-fetched, but I love the principle of living in a cabin in the woods, living life by your own terms. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Whenever I think about that show, I chuckle to myself, and I'll tell you in a minute. Another one was a National Geographic show. It was called Yukon Passage. It was about 4 guys that built a raft, put one of those big canvas tents on it, and they did a float trip down the Yukon River. Then they dismantled the raft and built a cabin and went by dog team. Oh, I watched that thing 1,000,000 times. It made me dreamy about Alaska and the Yukon. I'll put a link down below to that if you've never heard of it. It's a good flick. It's an old flick. It was made in the 70s, I think, but it was good. Good flick. So I said I'd tell you about the Grizzly Adams thing. Okay. I used to watch that with a friend of mine. We watched it all the time, maybe even every day. And we had the same dreams, but I grew up chasing dreams and he grew up chasing dollars, and we went our separate ways, and I haven't heard from him since. But we'd watch it over his house, and he had an older sister that was a total floozy. Don't mind the noise in the background, because Tildy, she entertains herself pretty good and makes a bunch of racket. But anyway, we'd watch the show and we would sing that theme song, and she would throw a bunch of wisecracks at us. So we'd be, remember the theme song of Grizzly Adams? They go, deep inside the forest is a door into another land. Here is our life and home. And she'd say, go to the forest, young man, and the only door you're going to be knocking on is the unemployment office. And we would stay here forever in the beauty of this place all alone. All alone, that's right, because no woman in her right mind's going to go out there with you. We keep on hoping that you will. Maybe there's a world where we don't have to run, and maybe. And she'd go, welcome to the rat race, young man. You'll be running all your life.
Frankie and the boss out walking in the woods, living life happy and free. Tracks in the snow everywhere they go. There's a pokey way up in that tree. A beaver built a pond where they have some fun, taking life a day at a time. Best friends until the end. Frankie and the boss. Frankie and the boss. Frankie and the boss.